Hey, what's up y'all? In this video I'll be building a sub box for the Ballena system. This is the third sub box I've ever built. I am a beginner box builder and I've definitely made a lot of mistakes. But because of those mistakes, I learned a lot and I've learned lessons that I'll apply to my next box build. So I'll be pointing those mistakes out during the video as it goes. That way you don't make the same mistakes I did. Let's get to it. Mistake number one can be seen here. This piece was cut at the store and as you can see it is not the best fitting piece. I used a nail gun over screws because I wanted to save on time, but ideally if your pieces aren't cut to exact specifications, the best thing to do, pre-drill holes and use screws, which I ended up doing here anyways on this side. Here I'm using a Craig rib cut, which I got just for the build. Man, that thing is a lifesaver. Here I'm using 60 grit sandpaper to knock down some of those high spots so that the top can sit on there evenly. I'll be using Loctite PL3 Premium to seal the edges of this box, and in retrospect I should have used this instead of wood glue because I knew my pieces were a little off. Here I'm making a cutout so that I can cut out the ported area for the box. So I made a hole big enough to get my router into, and here's another mistake I made. For one, I probably should have turned the box on its back, so I would have been putting the router down versus the sideways that I'm using it right there. But also, I just figured that my blade on the router would have cut through the flimsy nails, and it had a little bit of an issue with it. It jumped on me a little bit at first, but we were able to get it done. So in retrospect, had I used screws, I could have just undid the screws and would have had a way smoother cut. This is also something that I probably should have done before I even put the box together because it sends a lot of dust inside of the box. Here's the box after day one. It was a super hot day here in Texas. I was out there for a few hours and this is what it looks like after the first day. So day two, I learned my lesson about the PL Premium, so I'm cleaning off the edges and I'm using PL Premium to set the top onto the box. I also pre-drilled a number of holes to the top baffle, and this time I did use screws. And this is the kind of squeeze out that you want to see and the kind that you can get with screws. So yesterday when I wrapped up, I finished putting the top on the box. Once everything got dried up, I marked off where I'm going to do the circles for the sub cutouts. So today, I'm going to cut those out with this router I bought from Harbor Freight yesterday. They had a pretty good deal going with their parking lot sale. Normally 60 bucks, got it for 30. It came with a little jig here that just so happened to be exactly 7 inches from here to here, which is exactly what I need to get these subs in. So let me get these circles cut. Here's another mistake. I should have cut these circles out before I put the baffle onto the box. And once again, it's because of the amount of dust that gets into the box after you do it. Hey, what is up y'all? It is day 4 of the sub box build. We're still going at it. Today what I'll be doing is I will be adding the second baffle to the box just to kind of give it some reinforcement. I got the wood piece cut out. What I'm gonna do is kind of line it up to what I have now, mark out some holes so that I can screw it in, get the top baffle screwed into the second baffle, and then just gotta let it sit there and let the glue hit and let the glue do its job. So let's get to that. Here's a mistake I made on the second baffle. I put the screws to screw into the baffle about 1.5 inches into the second baffle because I didn't want to run the risk of hitting any of the screws that I had from the first baffle. What I should have done is put them on the same way I did for the first baffle, but stagger them. That way I knew for sure that I wasn't going to hit anything. I would have gotten better coverage that way, a more even coverage versus leaving the edges out. Hey, what's up, y'all? So we're back for day 4 of the sub box build. Glue has been curing for 24 hours, so that second baffle should be on there real good now. Today I'm gonna get all this off of it, then I'm gonna start cutting the holes in the second speaker baffle, and then start sanding down some of these edges so that we got a nice even finish. So here I am introducing even more dust into the sub box, and again, I wish I would have just done this beforehand, that way I wouldn't have so much dust inside. Here I'm using 60 grit sandpaper to go around the edges and get rid of some of those rough edges. So this corner is one of the big areas of concern, and pretty much the whole box all around, that top baffle sticks out just a little bit more than the rest of the box. So I've got some 60 grit sandpaper on my hook and loop orbital, and I'll just be working that down. Well, after a few minutes of sanding, I ended up just grabbing my router with that flush trim bit that I used to cut the sub speaker holes out. And I just ran that around the side, and that lined it up a lot better and was a lot faster than the sanding. So now I'm gonna do that around the box. I was kind of reluctant to do that at first because this router gets really hot. It also jumps around on me a little bit, but man, that is just so much faster. But yeah, sometimes when it jumps, you'll get little things like that on there. But that's something I can go in and fill in with putty. All right, so I've sanded around the corners, cleaned it up some. Now I just need to cover up these holes with some Bondo or putty. Make some adjustments here. Same thing, either Bondo or putty, just so that'll look better. And then she'll be ready for paint. What is up, y'all? Day 5, I think it is, maybe even day 6 of the box build. So today I'll be doing some Bondo work on it, filling in some of these holes, trying to shape up some of these imperfections. In case you're wondering, I'm not wearing the same shirt. I do have multiple versions of these shirts. And yeah, let's get to it, man. I'll be using Bondo to cover up these holes. And this is my first time using Bondo, so let's see how it goes. And let me tell you, less is more when it comes to the hardener. I put too much hardener on this first batch, and as you can see, it's getting hard before I even get a chance to use it. Here I finally got a decent consistency, and I literally used a drop of the hardener in it. Once again, less is more when it comes to the Bondo hardener. Alright, so 120 grit pad on my hook and loop. Let's just get some of this knocked down. So at this point, all of the Bondo has been sanded off. I did one last thing off camera. I grabbed my 60 grit and my sander, went right here, was going like this, just to create a little bit of a roundness on that port. And for this side right here, I just did the 60 grit and sandpaper. But yeah, that is about it for this box. So this box is ready for the finish. Some of the stuff isn't flattened all the way down. Still might have some glue here. Might see some texture there. And the reason for that is that I'm gonna go with a Duratex coating, which is kind of like a truck liner, except it's made specifically for sub boxes. So I'm not too worried about any of these raised spots or anything that would provide a little texture, because that's the look that I'm gonna go for. So that's gonna be all for the sub box for now. Hopefully next time y'all see this or catch me, I'll be painting it. Then after that, hopefully we'll get it installed in the wagon and get some bass going. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys learned from my mistakes. If you're a pro sub box builder, or if you've been doing this a long time, feel free to point out even more mistakes so that anybody watching this video can learn from it and won't make the same ones. Thanks for watching. Y'all be blessed.
Then you know everything about cars?
No, man. I actually don't know a lot. Just try to figure it out.